At this time, we were able to determine the fire started in the area of the HVAC unit on the roof, and it's rolled accidental at this time.
Now, that was a tough fire, I mean, because of the size of it, but I'm sure it was enhanced because of the wind, and it was extremely cold that night. So tell us how difficult that was to fight.
Correct. So the elements were against us at night, between the high winds with wind gusts well over 30 miles an hour, up on a flat roof where there's no protection from the wind, along with a natural gas line that was ruptured at some point, which was fueling the fire as well. That's why it was able to advance as far as it was before we were able to get it under control.
Now, we saw the video and photos and that from the front of the store, but you told me the actual firefighting began at the back of the store.
Correct. And able to get access to the roof, crews were initially sent to the back of the building. Because of the parapet wall and the way the layout of the front of the store is up on the roof, initially crews were sent to the back of the roof to investigate. And we had multiple units back there operating well before the fire was advancing on us. And that's where the firefighting efforts began. And that's what you don't see any of the initial pictures. You don't see any units out front because we were all in the back to start to try to gain control of the fire initially.
When you have to make it a 4-alarm fire, that is really unbelievable. So what does that mean for our viewers who are not aware of this? What does it mean when you have a 4-alarm fire? Who do you call in?
So initially, a first alarm was our local units from West Hazleton. Then we started to call some other units in. We hit a second alarm, which brings in some of our surrounding fire departments, which included Hazleton and Hazel Township, McAdoo, Freeland, Sugarloaf and Valley Regional. And then once we realized the fire was advancing as far as it was due to weather conditions, the natural gas lines, and the size of the store, we knew we needed extra manpower and apparatus. And that's when we hit the third and fourth alarm. And all it does is call other units from outside the area and bring them into the area to help in the firefighting effort. And then along with that, we also brought different fire companies in to cover the area as well. Hazleton City backstaffed all their apparatus, so they were fully staffed with whatever apparatus they had back at the station. And then we also brought in some outside agencies from different counties to protect the area in case there were other emergencies that night.
And you told me you were afraid of that because of the high winds.
Absolutely. So we weren't the only calls being dispatched at the time. Other units responding to the fire were actually diverted initially to other calls in the area until we were able to get outside units in. So that was a great concern.
And then you had to worry as well about anyone who was inside any of the buildings because there were shoppers at Weis and employees, and then PetSmart, the animals in PetSmart and people there. So tell us about that concern.
We were concerned initially to evacuate the store. The employees did a great job in Weis. They made multiple announcements to get everybody out of the store. Evacuations were well underway upon our arrival. And then once we realized the fire was advancing as far as it was, we sent crews to PetSmart to get that evacuated and cleared out as well.
So you did rescue animals, and luckily there was a firewall between Weis and that store.
Absolutely. So we were able to get all the pets out in a very quick and efficient manner. And then once the employees showed up from the store, they were able to assist us in ensuring all the pets were out, getting them into safe locations, and transporting them off the scene as quickly as possible. But the fire between the firewall and our efforts that evening stopped it from spreading to PetSmart, which only suffered minor water damage.
And you had one firefighter treated for smoke inhalation. That could have been a lot worse.
Correct. Unfortunately, we did have one firefighter transported pretty early on in the incident due to smoke inhalation and some other medical complications. So he stayed in the hospital for a couple hours for further evaluation and was released with no issues. But we had close to 100 firefighters on scene from approximately 14, 15 different fire companies. So to only have one injury was definitely a blessing, and just trying to keep everybody safe, especially in those conditions. We do appreciate the effort of all the other additional fire companies, EMS units, and police departments that responded to the scene. because there was a good turnout from our surrounding communities. When a fire like this happens, it's way beyond whatever we could handle. And we had to look to others to come in and help, and they really did a great job.
Today's news feature is brought to you by The Cheese Store and more. Go to their Facebook page to see their specials and check out their catering menu.